An international calling code is what you put before a local phone number before calling someone who is international from your provider. For example, if I want to call a phone number from someone who lives in Vietnam whose local number is 555 5555 5555, I would call +84 555 5555 5555. Almost every territory has its own unique international calling code, although there are some exceptions. As you can see by the map, most regions are split into blocks. All of Africa begins with +2, with South Africa being +27, Ethiopia +251, Algeria +213, and so on. Most of the broader Middle East and Southern Asia starts with +9. China and the surrounding countries largely start with +8, Oceania +6, and so on. You can quite clearly see that there are already some inconsistencies on this map. For example, why is Greenland +299 while most of Europe, including their country Denmark, starts with either +4 or +3? Why is Mongolia +976 while being surrounded by +8 and +7 countries? Why are Kazakhstan and Russia unified under a single code while Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, etc. are not? And arguably most importantly, why are so many places in and outside North America using the USA phone number system? I will attempt to describe some of these instances and similar instances as quickly as possible. You can see that on the eastern side of this map there is a block of territories that are in the Oceanic block, while one territory in the north is not. That territory is Hawaii, which is bound within the US-American phone number system, which will be somewhat explained later. You can also see within the north of this map that not only Greenland is on the African block, but the Faroe Islands as well. There isn't actually any widely agreed on answer to this question. Another thing a lot of people point out quite quickly is that Russia and Kazakhstan are unified under one code, +7. This was actually due to a continuation of the calling code system from the Soviet Union, with +7011 being Kaliningrad, 012 Lithuania, 013 Latvia, 014 Estonia, 015 to 023 Belarus, etc., including Kazakhstan, which was +73XX. Kazakh numbers are now largely +72XX, +76XX, +77XX, with other numbers either being Russia, Abkhazia, or reserved. In 2023, however, Kazakhstan will merge into the Western and Southern Asia bloc, with its new calling code being +997. Something less pointed out is that Armenia is within the +3 European bloc, while the surrounding territories being Georgia, Azerbaijan, and Turkey are all within the Western and Southern Asia bloc. The only real reasoning for this is that Armenia is geographically within Europe, which does give it some sort of excuse to be within this bloc, even though their neighbours do qualify but chose to be within the WS Asian bloc. As for +1 being the defined code in so many places, the place that you are calling is actually based upon 3 numbers that you put after +1. For example, if you call +1304 XXX4X, the number you are calling was registered in West Virginia. If you call +1809 XXX4X, the number was registered in the Dominican Republic. Two of the most interesting codes to point out are Guam and the North Mariana Islands, codes 671 and 670, located in Micronesia, much outside North America. There was an extensive list of region codes compiled on Wikipedia a while ago, which will be linked below, along with a deeper explanation of the system by Tom Scott. There is also a number of assigned but unused codes, most notably the Vatican City. The Holy International Calling Code just so happens to be +379, although it seems Jesus prefers Italy's system, with the Vatican opting for +3 06 698 XXXXX, +39 being Italy, 06 being the area code for Rome, and 698 for whatever other reason. What is most confusing is that similar microstates, Monaco, San Marino, and Andorra, all have their own calling codes, with them being +377, +378, and +376 respectively. Although before June 1996, Monaco was within the French numbering plan. Something you may have noticed as well is that Europe uses +3 and +4. There isn't actually clear reasoning for it, it has just been the standard for years now. After the breakup of Yugoslavia, former Yugoslav states received the codes +38X, Serbia +381, Montenegro +382, Kosovo +383, Croatia +385, and so on. The only outlier here is Ukraine, which was assigned +380 before using +7. A final thing to point out is that you may notice some territories have 3-digit codes while others have 2. Other than in Europe, this is largely used to prevent conflicts. For example, if the code +81 exists, there cannot be a +813, because there is a chance that there is a number that starts with +81 and then 3, so having +813 would cause a conflict, as it wouldn't be clear where you're trying to call. Within Europe, this is also followed for obvious reasons, but the main reason for 2 and 3-digit codes is actually based on size, presumably population of the territory. France got +34, while Bulgaria got +389.